The majority of the trains are parked over here on this side of the layout because, as I stated in the previous video, the west wall and the south wall have been taken apart to redo it. And here is all the tracks with feeders, extra track, switches that have not been upgraded with the new spring wire, smaller parts of track, switches that have been upgraded with the spring wire. Here's the south wall, yeah. The track that's remaining is what I want to keep in place and then incorporate into the new design. Basically, I go back over here. This was cool. It somewhat worked, but at the time, not knowing a whole lot, it doesn't work for like modern stuff, like 6-axle units. They don't like going through that, and I can use these for the purposes that I need to cross from one main line to the other. But I just took apart all this track and clipped the wires. It'll be easy to put back because I'll just strip this, and I left the ends wherever they are at Awego and good to go. I even took apart the stationary decoders, my DS74s, to do this, but even with the wiring that I figured out earlier, it's not a waste for me because I learned how to do it basically, and I figured out that it's possible. So, and you can see wires just hanging. I imagine a bunch of these will move positions actually, now that I think about it, because once I get the main in and then start building off of that, positions of switches will change, and more than likely I'll have to move 74s around to account for that. But basically, not these here, but I bought some new curved pieces, 22, 26, and 28, and I have enough to figure out what I want to do to then get what I need for each corner as I put this back together. So this will probably be 2 parts. I'm gonna do the west wall going towards the south wall, and then once both of those are done, I'm gonna come back and work on the north wall a little bit to improve this staging yard. I'm still gonna keep the staging yard kind of small, but the first turnout into the yard, I'm gonna try to move that way some and around over here some to make the first siding or arrival departure track, as you would call it, maybe longer, and then that'll probably elongate some of these or the yard tracks, and it'll also probably take out some of this. I'll probably lose some of this from what I'm going to try to do, but that's the second part later on after I get this rebuilt and wired in, which it'll kind of go, now that I think about it, it'll kind of somewhat coincide because I'll have to relocate that switch to where I need it over here, and then of course run the track. There's those curved pieces I talked about, 22, 26, and 28. And one of the biggest reasons is that section there may be a 18 degree, and I definitely know I had a 18 degree on the first main line on this side, which is one of these right here. And a lot of my rolling stock and engines do not like a 18. So the minimum I'm shooting for everything is 22 and 26 and 28 if need be, depending on how many I get in here. For my previous video, I'll be able to have that double siding in the back like I wanted, going down, and then incorporate it in. And then you can see I left this one right here in the front. The steam locomotive, my 484, goes around it no problem. Obviously you need a speed restriction, and I'll incorporate that back in somehow, and then whatever other sidings as well. So that's, as I said, I think I said before, I left that in for the most part, but I need to redo sections of it for however the main lines end up. Give me a sec, and I'll start on this, and then we'll see where it goes. It always seems to be raining when I'm recording a video. But anyway, trains are over here on this side of the room because I tore out the west wall and the south wall and redid the track. I had another video for that, but I can't find it. I don't know what happened to it, so gotta make this one. I have pulled down the upper shelf to make it easier to work on this. I got the track in, going all the way around how I want it. Removing the double crossover that doesn't really work real well with larger locomotives. So I basically started in this corner and worked my way all the way around to that corner. And now I'm coming back. As you can see, I put in insulating railers in it on these. What else? I'm hooking up the feeders, because a lot of feeders I'm just having to connect by Wagos. Some I'll need to solder, like you can see some sticking up. And I'm working my way down around the room so I can get the layout working again. And I'm about to this point. I just finished this section. This will also have me, or require me, to pull down my 74s and 60, my 164 that's in place, and relocate them to new switch locations, and kind of redo all that. But that's actually pretty easy, to the point where I have it how I do it now. So I'm gonna get back at it and get this wall done so I can move to this section and put in the rail gap joiners, or the plastic rail joiners that isolate because of my power districts, and then move to this wall. But obviously I gotta take a bunch of stuff down on this wall to be able to have room to get there. Give me a sec and we'll get to it. Well, if you noticed, you watched both the beginning videos that I filmed, because I found the first one showing when I was kind of redoing the track, and then the second one, since I couldn't find the first one, with the track mostly complete. Well, it's pretty much all the way complete now. I did not change out the yard like I mentioned in a previous video, because it didn't seem like it was going to work out to put a switch here and one down here on this curve to mess with the yard. All the tracks in, feeders are in, DS 74s and 64s by Digitrax are installed and hooked to all the switches, or most of the switches. I have a few that aren't done. I have the double siding back there. You can see, if I can zoom in right there. There's a train part way down there. Like I was wanting to do on the talking about the other video. So the ring core trades part on the back one. I have isolating rail gaps in all my corners like this, so that it's making my power districts work like it's supposed to. This side turned out like this. It's got two double-ended sidings for the main. I did when I put it back to had this put back together originally. I originally had a switch to go back into the main here from this forward siding and its other section. I started looking at that and I had the track, so I ran that around to down there, and it gives me more siding and extra track to play with for the layout. That switch and the two crossovers on that wall, they are the only switches that are not hooked into the system, so you have to throw those manually. I need a DS64 to wire those in. Last is to get, or what I'm thinking about is I'm going to add in two more crossovers like this and get the opposite of that one and probably put it right there, and then the opposite of that crossover and put it right there. But it's running, everything's running good. Ran trains, found all the problems. I think I found the other day, but I hadn't fixed it. A rail joiner that's misaligned and on a siding, but that's pretty much it. Got it back to work, or back in working order, and I've been working on a couple of little projects like the train you see in front of me. Probably make a video on that later on. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you don't mind, like and subscribe. Hit that little bell, as everybody says, and leave a comment or a question. Later.